Inspector General of Police.
Construction work begins on 3 interchanges at Kaswa in the Central Region.
And a Nigerian becomes the first African to win English Language World Scrabble Championship. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the studios of your news channel GBC24. You're also live on Ghana Television. This is News Hour. My name is Akpene Avo Ajaja.
And my name is Selikem Akolachi Apalu, and this evening our sign language interpreter is Robert Frimpong Manso.
Now the stories in detail. President John Mahama has appointed COP John Kudalo as acting Inspector General of Police.
Until his appointment, COP John Kudalo was Director General of Police Operations, a position he held for more than 3 years.
Kudalo has a 20-year wealth of experience in the police service and was in charge of monitoring the 2012 general elections.
He replaces the current IGP, Mohammed Al-Hassan, who begins his accumulated leave as he prepares to go on retirement.
GBC Radio's Ghana Today program has also been informed that the Deputy Director of Operations of the Ghana Immigration Service, Mr. Felix Sapon, has also been appointed to act as Director of Immigration.
And moving on the 15th of December this year, there will be a by-election in the Amenfi West constituency in the Western region. The Electoral Commission says following the death of the Member of Parliament for the said constituency and in accordance with Article 1125 of the Constitution as amended, the Commission will hold the by-election to elect a new Member of Parliament. This was contained in a statement by the Deputy Commissioner of the Commission, Mr. Amadou Sule. The election will be held on Tuesday, the 15th of next month from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Nominations for the election will be taken on Wednesday, the 18th and Thursday, the 19th of this month at the office of the Commission at Asenkregwa from 8 a.m. to 12 noon and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. each day.
To the Central Region now, construction work has begun on 3 interchanges at Kaswa in the Central Region, a move that is expected to solve the constant traffic jam in those areas. The project is funded with about $160 million facility and comes with community upgrading facilities which promise to open up the Ewutu Senya East and Ga South municipalities. Nuto Bibini Nuto has the details.
Kaswa is the capital of Ewutu Senya East municipality in the Central Region. Due to its nearness to the national capital, the settlement there keeps expanding by the day. It appears to be the fastest growing community in the country so far. The N1 highway, being the only major road corridor on the coastal belt of the country, carries a lot of vehicular traffic, and the Kaswa area happens to be the hub of many large communities along the route, which runs through to the Western region. It can take a commuter between 3 and 4 hours to go through the Kaswa traffic. But government is reaching out to the people with 3 interchanges. The main one is being constructed at the Kaswa Central Traffic Light, with another at the Ewutu Senya East Municipal Assembly Junction, while a third is to be sited at the Galilea Amanfrom Market. The road engineers say there are compelling reasons for such investment in Kaswa.
The intervention that the Minister of Roads and Highways is doing is to help ease that congestion and bring a lot of relief to the traveling public as far as the Kaswa area is concerned. And what has been the major contributory factor? One, we have a lot of transport terminals dotted around the intersection here. 2, the fact that the local road network is not developed to complement whatever we have on the main road. So people on the southern side or the northern side, they all have to necessarily come back to the Kaswa intersection to move. Again, we do have the major road, the Kaswa Amasama, that's the Obom road. And people, when they come out from that road, will still have to come back to the intersection and do U-turns before they can go to, and all that has contributed to the congestion in here.
A number of ancillary projects come along with the 3 interchanges. They include 3 bus terminals, 1 modern polyclinic, 4 of 21-unit classroom block, 20-kilometer local roads, and 33-kilometer road from Kaswa to Amasaman.
We are doing the Obom Road itself, right from the Kaswa intersection all the way into Amasaman, about 33 kilometers. So in all, almost 53 kilometers of roads are going to be done, in addition to the works that we are doing on the main Kaswa Road, which is almost another 6 kilometers of the main road as well as the access road.
Residents and commuters are already counting their blessings ahead of the project.
System ayo musisiano se mo amboa ne anye kwan ya meti se binum se sika mo de ye edos matini bebre but mummia mo ani pa anye maye se na be ya emre bi beba se yan se sika this time amfa nye this time emre bi bedu a wan hwe age ye ton Ghana nyina anse na betum dia ye kwan we.
A 20-meter span bridge will be constructed over River Densu at Ashalaja, with another one over the Okurudu River. 10 mechanized boreholes will be sunk across beneficiary communities. With a few piers already up, 20% of the work is done, while traffic management is in place to divert traffic before the rest are raised. Contractors say Kaswa will witness a huge makeover soon. Mto Bibinimto, GBC24, Kaswa.
And in Accra today, the Veterans Administration of Ghana, VAG, presented a poppy to former President Jerry John Rawlings. Poppies are given in remembrance of war veterans and in recognition of those who contributed to the welfare of the aftermath of wars. The veterans spoke of the former president as a man who lifted them from a state of neglect. Napoleon Atukito reports.
Former President Jerry John Rawlings has been the longest-serving Ghanaian head of state. He launched a revolution in 1981, which lasted for 11 years. He succeeded that era by becoming president for 2 terms when the country returned to civilian rule in 1992, thus ruling for another 8 years. By default, the former president is connected to the veterans in 2 special ways. He was once the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, but is also one of their own, having served in the military. He resigned from the Ghana Armed Forces, where he served as a combat pilot before stepping into politics. The veterans described the former leader as one of a few who recognized and supported veterans, a gesture which saved them from a state of neglect. The executive director of the Veterans Administration of Ghana, VAG, Colonel Chris Nutako, decorated former President Rawlings with a poppy. The recipient then requested members of the gathering other than the VAG delegation to also receive poppies from a box presented to him. In an interaction, the former president mentioned some key political figures across the political divide who he thinks deserve similar attention.
The war veterans and the Gold Coast veterans, who I recall were agitating a lot during your presidency, and then you managed to get them some pension, for which they are very grateful. And they continue to talk about it, even though they continue to say that it is not enough, but at least it was something which they have not listened. So they asked me to tell you that they have not forgotten that, and that they will continue to pray for Your Excellency.
You haven't called on the president yet, have you?
He's the one who will be laying the reef on the 11th.
Okay.
The staff said, so we decided to call on former presidents if they are available.
What about Kufuor?
Yeah, we have written to bed. We told he is not in, but we hope that he will be in before Wednesday.
What about some of these chief executives of some of these corporate entities? You know, they are better equipped resource-wise.
Yes, Your Excellency, we've written to all of
some
them.
of them, so
Yes,
that you can.
Yeah, they have been responding reasonably well.
According to the VAG, there are 198 surviving Gold Coast veterans and 205 veterans of World War II. Some of them will undertake a Remembrance Day parade in Accra. active personnel drawn from other security services will do the march in the regional capitals. Remembrance Day in Ghana falls on November 11th. In October 2012, a legislative instrument, Act 844, converted the Veterans Association of Ghana into an administration, making it a constitutionally mandated body. Napoleon Atukitu, Accra.
The executives and members of the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Association of Ghana are appealing to the government and the police to rescind their decision on arresting cars with DP and DV trade plates. According to them, they operate lawfully within the confines of the law governing the use of these plates, and that the actions of the police are affecting their businesses negatively. The association made this appeal in a news conference in Accra.
Exactly 2 weeks ago, on the 26th of October 2015, the police impounded cars with DV and DP trade plates because they said it was unlawful for those cars to be driven at certain times. The exercise did not go down well with the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Association, generally known as car dealers. So the association met with the media to educate the general public on the laws governing the use of the DV and DP trade plates. They explained why the police must not just arrest anyone with a DV or DP trade plate, but must inquire from them before taking further actions. According to the chairman of the association, Reverend S.F. Okra, a great number of people who were arrested on Monday, 26th October 2015, were mostly people who do not belong to the association and do not own garages but sell cars on the streets in front of their houses and shops. The General Secretary of the Association, Nanaya Owusu-Dodu, appealed to the Motor Transport and Traffic Directorate, MTTD, of the Ghana Police Service that in carrying out their duties in the enforcement of road traffic regulations in Ghana, they should be carried with greater circumspection so that it does not become detrimental to genuine Vehicle and Asset Dealers Association members who lawfully use the DV and DP trade plate for their business transactions.
The law governing the usage of DP and DV trade plates is stipulated in the LI 2180 of the Road Traffic Regulation of 2012. The law on the usage of DP and DV trade plates does not authorize, and I repeat, does not authorize the motor vehicles to be used for carrying of passengers, goods for hire, or reward of passengers who are not engaged in testing the motor vehicle or inspecting the motor vehicle with a view to purchasing the motor vehicle, yet it has no time limit.
The association further advised members of the general public who wants to buy or sell cars to contact certified garage owners who are members of the association, because there are a lot of fraudsters who have infiltrated into the car selling industry with the sole aim of defrauding innocent customers.
To the eastern region, and one of the biggest challenges that employers have to deal with is the safety of their employees. According to the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, organizations and companies can prevent workplace accidents by complying with safety laws. This issue came up at the launch of ECG Safety, Health and Environmental Awareness Week at Koforidua in the region.
The Safety Week is held every November to educate the public on the need to ensure safety at all times. The General Manager of Safety Health Education, Mr. J. Smith Graham, said management has provided special safety equipment, adding that it will be strict in ensuring that workers use them in the course of their duty.
Safety begins with you. You have to be safe so you can save others. So let us practice the safety. Let us keep our environment also neat.
The Managing Director of ECG, Mr. Robert Dramina, said safety is vital and therefore all must be conscious of that need in the home and at work.
Accidents and risks to human health are preventable through the continuous improvement in our work environment and work methods. It is therefore our collective responsibility to create a safe, healthy and accident-free workplace for all of us.
The guest speaker at the event, Dr. Frederick Danso, said everybody is at risk of accident at home or at work.
Electricity does not respect you. It's called the silent killer. You cannot smell electricity. Can you? Can you feel it? Can you taste it? Yes, but it can kill you. And that is why we must respect electricity.
There was a CPR demonstration by the Ghana Red Cross Society.
It's all responsive. So to open the airway, you hold the chin and lift it up. Bring your upper body on the person and you compress downwards. After 30 chest compressions, you keep the airway open and you give 2 breaths. So you continue to do this until the ambulance arrives.
The week-long celebration has the theme Enhancing Safety, Health and Environmental Consciousness at the Workplace. Region now, 51 senior cadet recruits have passed out at the Service Academy at Petoy. They were given relevant training and skills to meet the challenges in customs administration.
The paramilitary aspect of the Customs Department started in December 1836 with the establishment of the Customs and Excise Department. At the time, it became necessary to recruit personnel to check the breach of customs laws by physically patrolling the country, sea and land frontiers. This then saw the formation of the Preventive Unit. In 1960, the Ministry of Interior took over the administration of the Customs and Excise Department and the Preventive Unit was transferred to the Police Service. That same year, parts of the preventive functions were ceded back to the Customs Excise Department with the added responsibility of patrolling the borders to check the activities of smugglers. The government of the PNDC therefore established an academy to train customs officers to be able to face new challenges imposed on them by their new status. In August 1990, the first intake of 66 trainee officers, made up of 57 men and 9 women, started training at the academy. The Commissioner General of SEPS, Mr. George Blankson, tasked the new recruits to make use of skills and knowledge acquired during the training to enable them to discharge their duties professionally as customs officers. The recruits went through 12 months of intensive basic, paramilitary and customs training. They were taken through military drills, exercises, weapon handling, as well as the rudiments of customs operations, theories, regimes, laws, finance, ethics, code of conduct, and the mission and vision of the service. The Commissioner General's Award for the best all-round trainee went to Senior Cadet Mr. David Ayankwa Mensah.
Watching news are live on your own news channel GBC24 and Ghana Television.
We'll take a quick break. We return with business news.
It's time to go to the world of business by courtesy of EcoBank, Hisense and Airtel. My name is Esther Aidu. For small and medium-scale enterprises in the country, getting access to credit is very difficult. This is a major hurdle to businesses and its expansion in the country. In an interaction with the French ambassador, the chief executive of the Private Enterprise Federation, Nana Osei-Bonsu, appealed to the French government to extend some support to SMEs.
In the manufacturing sector, SMEs in the country take up about 85% of the workforce. This is representative of 70% of the country's GDP and 92% of companies registered in Ghana. Locally and externally, efforts have been made to develop local value-added companies, but with the many hurdles, not many SMEs are able to diversify, access finance, and grow into sector leaders. To find solutions to this age-old problem, the Private Enterprises Federation has held discussions with the French government to try to bring in more investors in various sectors of the economy. The Chief Executive Officer of the Private Enterprise Federation, Nana Osei-Bonsu, said local industries need training to grow their businesses and compete favorably.
Come on board with the local partners makes it a win-win situation for all. And I like the ambassador's statement that the French companies don't just come for one-off, make money and run. They want a permanent relationship and long-lasting relationship. That's what we're looking for, because Ghana has a lot of potential, but potential can only be realized when you have a partner with the expertise to assist you. And we want that win-win situation where you also come in, work with us, grow part of us, and be able for us to also, with our succession plan and others, to be able to do what we need to do.
The French ambassador to Ghana, Francois Pujula, promised his government's support to partner the Federation.
As per the objective, what you mentioned is very important, and it is also what we think. We think that, of course, big companies should be more present in Ghana, and we have already, you mentioned some in the energy sector, like Technip, and it's important that those companies, and that's what they do actually, when they come to Ghana, they don't come just for, one shot. They come to stay and to develop long-lasting cooperation. What you said about Technip is what we want to see with other French groups, because they are the mean also to develop all those, training programs and career development for local staff.
The Private Enterprise Federation was established in 1994. It was the initiative of the Association of Ghana Industries, Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ghana Employers Association, and the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters. It has support from USAID.
Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone and Liberia are to sign a memorandum of understanding by next month to facilitate the movement of skilled labor and professionals. The MOU will, among others, focus on work permit process and security and social security reforms for professionals who move to other countries for employment. This is being facilitated by the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations.
The objective is to really focus on narrowing down on what are the key constraints to the movement of skilled labor across borders. What are these challenges, and really thinking critically about how they can be addressed. Then, one of the key outputs of this initiative is to develop a cross-country MOU. Within the regions, they will sign an MOU where the 4 countries in West Africa will commit themselves and ostensibly each other to focus on specific issues and try and unblock the blockages in those issues as it relates to talent mobility. So the signing of this MOU, which is something that all the countries have been working towards.
Nestle Ghana, manufacturers of Ideal Milk, has organized the first ever cooking contest for home economics students from 9 polytechnics across the country. Bolgatanga Polytechnic came tops in the Idealicious Cooking Challenge.
The cooking event was organized to promote creativity and allow students to demonstrate their cooking abilities by using evaporated milk beyond its traditional use in tea and porridge. This is part of a broader campaign introduced earlier this year to create awareness about the varied use of evaporated milk. And as part of the Idealicious Cooking Challenge, the participants prepared a main meal and dessert using their own recipes. The dairy category manager of Nestle Ghana, Ladilas Morris, explained the rationale for the competition.
Ideal Milk has been Ghana's favorite milk for many generations. And we also know that people really use a lot of Ideal Milk to cream their favorite tea, to cream their favorite porridges, but there are also usages for Ideal Milk. When you add Ideal Milk to local dishes, to your desserts, you can come up with really, really tasty and even more nutritious meals, and that's what we're trying to promote.
One of the judges of the competition, Chef Henry Dia, shared with the news team the criteria used in selecting the winning school.
Our local food, they use the ingredients from Ideal and Nestle products to prepare their dishes. Their dressings, the presentations, they did very well. So they deserve to have that award.
At the end of the contest, Tamale Polytechnic took the 3rd position and was awarded 1,000 Ghana cedis, while Kumasi Polytechnic came second and took away 2,000 Ghana cedis. The overall winner of the competition, Bolgatanga Polytechnic, was awarded 3,000 Ghana cedis. Some of the contestants spoke with GBC24.
We prepared today is Konkon Libgri, millet jollof. We prepared it in the form of millet jollof with watermelon special dessert.
We prepared guinea fowl alifu sauce
with which we incorporated milk into it to enrich its nutrients and make it more presentable.
All participants were awarded a certificate of participation and a hamper of Nestle products.
The president of the Volta Regional Chapter of the Association of Rural Banks has appealed to the government to consider dispersing district assembly common funds through rural banks. Togwe Bina was speaking at the association's annual Banking Week celebration in the Volta region. There are close to 140 rural banks in the 10 regions of Ghana, providing important financial services to ensure growth in Ghana's agro-based economy. The banks undertake microfinance and commercial banking activities in the rural areas and provide credit to cottage industry operators, farmers, fishermen, and regular salaried workers. They also grant credits to customers to pay school fees and meet medical expenses, among others. Rural and community banks are therefore the main vehicle for financial intermediation, capital formation, and retention of rural dwellers in their communities. A total of 12 banks form the Volta Regional Chapter of the Association of Rural Banks. The association's annual Banking Week celebration was used to sensitize rural communities on the need to patronize the services of rural banks to improve upon their socio-economic well-being. Togwe Lovivi Bina said the association has over the years supported the development of the region and the country at large.
We wish to appeal to government to ensure that the common fund is channeled to the communities. Sometimes you find that there is no universal bank in a district assembly. In a district, the whole district, there's no universal bank, and yet the common fund is channeled through the universal banks, which means they have to travel, the assemblies will have to travel to the regional capital to be able to access this facility.
The Deputy Volta Regional Minister, Mr. Francis Ganyanglu, said the association has become an integral part of the fight against poverty across the country. He, however, called on the banks to provide flexible credit facilities to enable rural folks to have access to loans to grow their businesses. He called on all in rural communities to develop the habit of saving for a secure future. Some urged the government to take a critical look at the activities of some microfinance companies to prevent them from defrauding unsuspecting customers. The interbank rate is up next. Let's now have the commodity prices. That's all by way of business. Have a good evening. Welcome back. It's still News Hour live on your news channel GBC24 and GTV. In some international stories, Nigerians have been congratulating countryman Wellington Jigere, who has become the first African to win the English Language World Scrabble Championship.
The 32-year-old beat Englishman Lewis Mackay 4-0 in the final in Australia. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari was among those who congratulated him, saying he has done the country proud. Mr. Jigere said on his Facebook page that he felt he was playing with the whole continent behind him. He added that it still baffles him that he managed to win, given how tired he felt as he had not slept well in about a week.
And moving outside Africa, Myanmar's opposition in National League for Democracy says it is confident of victory in the first openly contested national election in 25 years. An NLD spokesman said it is expected to win about 70% of the seats. Official results have released for just 12 seats, all won by the NLD. A quarter of the parliamentary seats are reserved for the army and for the NLD, and have the winning majority. It would need at least 2/3 of the contested seats. The full results will not be known for at least a few days, and the president will only be chosen in February or possibly later. International observers say the voting process was generally smooth with some isolated irregularities. The military-backed Union Solidarity Development Party, USDP, has been in power since 2011.
And that was the international news. We'll be right back.
Hello, good evening. Time for us to talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. This is in partnership with Tobinco Pharmaceuticals Limited, producers of Lunat. Let's start off with cricket. The president of the Ghana Cricket Association, Professor William Ampofo, says Ghana will host next year's Africa Girls Cricket Tournament. Mr. Ampofo says hosting the competition will boost the efforts of development of the sport in the country.
In order to push cricket forward, in order to build female cricket in Ghana, we are making a plan. We're going to discuss with ICC Africa, and we would like to host the next edition of the Northwest Africa Female Cricket Tournament. We've spoken to the DG, we'll put a plan on paper, we'll come and sit with a sports development officer, and I'm sure that with some sponsorship, hosting 4 or 5 teams should not be a problem. We have Nigeria, we have Mali, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, the Gambia. I think if we put together a good plan, we should be able to host these 5 countries. It will be a week of cricket at Achimota. We can add Obuasi as well, and we should be able to pull it off. I think if you remember, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, we hosted the Division 3, tournament, and that involved the use of 2 fields. I think there were 6 countries in all. We've done it before. We can do it again.
Let's check out updates from the ongoing Greater Accra Handball League, where the male and female handball teams of the Ghana Prison Service were at their best at the Bema Camp Hall in Accra. They beat the Air Force by 27-18 and 37-24. It was an entertaining clash at the handball court at Bema Camp in Accra when the Ghana Prison Service ladies clashed with the Ghana Air Force. The Air Force ladies in the blue jerseys were looking to count on home support to carry the day, but faced the more determined prison lads. The back-to-back action saw some good goals and great saves from the strikers and goalkeepers. At the end, it was the reformers from the Ghana Prison Service that carried the day with 27 goals to 18. Coaches of both sides shared their experience.
Though they did well, prisons, they call one of the best teams in Ghana. So, I'm happy my ladies, match them to this level.
I'm not impressed with the performance of my women because with what we have done, I'm expecting them to play better than they played. I know I will win, but the margin was not what I was expecting.
The men's game, Air Force in the blue and white jersey came in strongly, hoping to atone for the defeat suffered by their female counterparts. It was a battle of stamina, speed and skills. The fierce battle had the prison service team in the orange jersey winning by 37 goals to 24. it continues next week at the various centers. Let's wrap it up with football, where the Black Stars have kicked off preparations this afternoon in Accra for the upcoming FIFA World Cup qualifying games against Comoros, scheduled for November 13 and 17. 10 players were present on day one. They included goalkeepers Fatah Dauda and Richard Ofori, defenders Jonathan Mensah, Daniel Amati, Abdul Baba Rahman, and Rashid Sumaila. The midfielders present on the day were Mubarak Wakaso and Samuel Tete. The strikers included Captain Asamoah and David Akam. Coach Avam Grant and his technical team were all present. The team is expected to leave Accra on Wednesday. Comoros will host the first leg on the 13th, whilst the return leg will be played at the Kumasi Barbara Sports Stadium 4 days later. The encounter will be live on our sister station GTV Sports Plus, where the legends live. That's all for sports.
Now to what's happening in the arts and entertainment segment of the news. We bring you two determined hip life artists, Reggie and Boli, who are making strides in UK's X Factor competition. Reggie and Boli have passed the week 2 stage of the X Factor competition and are still moving to the top. Let's take a look. And back here in Ghana, winner of the 2015 Miss Ghana Beauty Pageant, Antoinette Delali Kemavo, and her colleagues were on Showbiz 24 and shared their journey to stardom. They were accompanied by the 2004 Miss Ghana, who is also the manager of the Miss Ghana Beauty Pageant.
Are you ready for the public eye?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Let's talk about grooming. How are you preparing her for Miss World?
We're going to be working on poise. We're going to be working on style. We're going to be working on how well you answer questions or how to answer questions. We're going to polish her talent.
Miss Ghana, are you going to continue the project of the previous, your predecessor, or you're picking up a new project? What is it?
Yes. I decided to build an aged home and then help our nursing graduates and midwifery students, because mostly Ghanaians complain of unemployment.
But let's talk about some of the controversies surrounding Miss Ghana, the beauty pageant, since you took over. A beauty queen resigning, the runner-up resigning, and all of that. What accounts for those things? And are you sure that this year you're not going to be met with some of those things?
I have to be honest with you, there are controversies in every pageant industry. The important thing is management has values and you stand for it regardless of it. So what happens is, once you've got value sets and you have queens who fit perfectly in line with that, it's a smooth journey. But when you don't, you do have that turbulence. If you look at Miss World in the beginning, they did have such challenges. Maria gratia plena, Maria gratia plena.
With the beauty queens, we wrap up the arts and entertainment segment for today. We'll be right back with more.
With technical support from the Ghana Meteorological Agency.
Good evening, viewers. This is the Winco Weather Report, and my name is Eunice Kweku. 24 hours ago, Ghana experienced scattered showering activities with sunshine intervals. However, the areas that were affected by showers are being scrolled right now at the base of your screens. From now till tomorrow morning, Ghana is likely to experience cases of partly cloudy conditions engulfing the entire country. We also see isolated thunderstorms developing over the transition, the forest, and the coastal portions of the country. This feature is likely to affect areas over Techiman, Sunyani, Tapachifu, Prasu, Wo, Alabanyo, Akosombo, down to Pokwasi, Accra, towards Adzim, Hafasini, and all the surrounding areas. For temperatures, we are likely to experience a range between 22 and 25 degrees Celsius, affecting most parts of the country. In the afternoon, partly cloudy conditions with sunshine intervals will be experienced across the entire country, and this time around, temperatures will rise to a range between 31 and 36 degrees Celsius all over. We are still likely to experience cases of scattered showering activities hovering over the transition, the forest, and the coastal line. The 48-hour forecast is coming up shortly. Do stay tuned to GTV. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll keep you posted on the weather same time tomorrow.
Thank you so much for sitting in for the news. We'll be back at 10:30 with a big edition.